You can get it. Marvelous.
Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. And look. In today's video, we're gonna do something real shicey, and that's on the game. We're gonna do the top 5 yellow decks of the OP08 meta.
Oh.
Yes, you heard me right. YGOD, yellow gang or die. YGOD, that's on the game, man. Shout out to all my delinquents. Instead of me just doing a video per deck like everybody else on the streets of YouTube, we're gonna do the top 5 deck, ranking them from the 5th to the very best yellow deck in the game. I know we have a lot of new players that just joined the channel, and maybe some of you guys are trying to be down with the gang with us over here, okay? So if that's the case, lock in, gang, lock in. We about to go over the top 5 yellow decks in the OP08 meta. Once OP08 or 8.5 does come, I'll make a different video for this, but for right now, we're gonna talk about the current game state, top 5 yellow decks in the meta. Let's go to get straight into it, gang. Let's get it.
Number 5.
So welcome back. Now let's go ahead and get into the 5th best yellow deck in the OP08 meta. We have 5 decks to go over, as you guys can all see right here. So let's go ahead into the most jankiest, top 5 yellow deck. This is probably the 5th best yellow deck in the meta. Fact, now the opinion is none other than Vega Punk. Vega Punk, if you guys did not know, in the East, at the tail end of the East, Vega Punk was actually winning a couple of tournaments and getting some really crazy toppings at the tail end of the East. Maybe it's because people don't know how to play against it, but I keep telling everybody this is a shicey ass jank deck. This deck is actually really good. Just a lot of people don't like playing leaders that can't attack. I think that's the only reason why, but Vega Punk is a very good non-attacking leader, even though he does have 2's life. Let's go to get straight into what Vega Punk actually does. Activate main once per turn. Place up to 1 cost 5 or less card with the egghead type from your hand face up on top of your life or into place. So this leader literally cheats out of 5 costs or less every single turn, or what you're really going to be doing, because a lot of these cards in this deck have a lot of triggers. You're going to be adding a lot of these cards back to your life, because a lot of these cards, not only do they resummon themselves back to the field, but they also get another effect with their trigger as well. So very good leader effect. Yeah, you can attack. Yeah, you start with 2 life, but every turn you're replenishing life every single turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over every single one of these cards in this deck. I'm gonna just keep it a stack of few. Since yellow uses a lot of the same yellow cards, I'll be going over a majority of the base yellow cards in this particular deck list, and then when we start actually moving to A4, A3, A2, A1, I'm not going to really be talking about it like that. So let's go to get straight into it. So we already talked about the leader. We got Flampy, probably one of the best 2K counters in all of yellow decks. As a 2K counter, it can speed up your deck, get a whole bunch of draw power. It has a 1000 power, so even if you in a tough spot, you can put 4 down on him and attack at life. Very strong card, but you really just use this for the 2K and the draw advantage if you do need some type of draw advantage. Okay, so that's what Flampy is here for, using almost every single yellow deck. Next card we have right here is ཌuⱠⱠ, and this is going to be the main card that's going to steer a lot of yellow users away. ཌuⱠⱠ at its lowest is $40, at its highest it's around 50 or 60. If I was you and you guys plan on playing yellow for the long haul, pick up the version you see on the screen right now, because even when the old art does get reprinted, this art's still going to retain its value. You don't want to get a card, for $40 and then it becomes $10, in a month or two. You're literally just throwing your money out the window at that point. So if you guys do want to invest in a yellow deck, pick up this alternate art, because it's going to hold its value. You guys are probably wondering, why is ཌuⱠⱠ so good for all my new players? ཌuⱠⱠ is good because it's spot removal for yellow. This card gets rid of any 8 drop or lower on your side of the field or their side of the field. A lot of times, if you bring this out on your side of the field, you're going to be summoning this and putting back one of your triggers into your life. So not only you get a life replenished, but now you get a broken trigger that you could use from their life as well. So this is a very strong card. Usually in most yellow decks, this is always ran at 4. And yeah, man, if you guys want to pick it up now, but just pick up the alt art. Okay, next card we got here is ʤaMoto. ＪaMoto is extremely good in this deck, because since you're allowed to really replenish your life every single turn, this actually helps ＪaMoto. I mean, there's a game I played, I was playing against OP at 6 life. I had 3 life. Now he's dropping Yamato, and now he's popping anything from a 9 drop or lower. So Yamato in this deck is very, very good. And also when you do summon this card, you actually replenish your life as well. A lot of this deck is built around life recycling. Okay, if you guys did not know what yellow does, that's what yellow does. It's a lot of life manipulation, and that's what this deck does. And that's why Yamato is so good in this deck, being able to, you know, manipulate your own life, stack up your life, and start popping things on the field when you come to the late game. And it's a 9k beat stick as well. Very, very strong card, and yellow cannot look, this can't be played without Yamato. Fact, not an opinion. Next card we got right here is the ﷺ. This is a championship list. None of these lists I show you except for 2 decks is my personal list. So in this particular list, this guy decided to go with ﷺ. I'm not sure why. If anything, if you're gonna play ﷺ because you could have some life replenish, maybe you should probably play 2. But you know, I guess 1. I guess he just has 1 flex spot in the deck. So this actually is very, very good just because you can replenish your life. KOs, anything, just having another way to KO things without using a trigger is also very, very good as well. Next card we got right here is Edison. Very strong card. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. A lot of these cards that we're gonna talk about, Vega Punk, you're never just gonna cheat them out. Okay, a lot of times they're gonna put these back into life, get their trigger, and then get their on play effect, like what you see right now. He has a trigger on play. So this is also a 2k as well. So I think he might only be playing 8k. 2Ks. So I mean, that's completely fine. It's just for the simple fact that you are replenishing your life every single turn. But this card right here, like a lot of these Vega Punk cards, you rarely going to play them just on play. You're really just going to put these back in life because, as you can see, they all have triggers. So this goes back in life. This is a blocker. This is probably one of the cards you actually always want to go out into the field with because it is a 6k blocker, and it also has a 1k counter. Very, very good. Cheat this out by just putting it back in life. You put this back in life. This also, it allows you to get a draw, some type of draw advantage as well when you put this back in life out of trigger, and it's a free body on the field as well. So I mean, not on field, but it goes to the grave. So very, very good card. Another card which is your main way of board removal is this Monkey D. Luffy. Look, I've been talking about Monkey D. Luffy for, you know, I don't know how long at this point in my Nail video and also my BY Luffy list video. So I'm not going to really go over too much of what Monkey Luffy does. Pretty much it's board removal. You can literally just activate this as soon as this gets summoned, or you can just use this at a trigger. And like I said, the whole gist of the deck is abusing shit at a trigger, so you'll probably use this at a trigger. Good, really good board removal, and a 6k beat stick as well. This card right here, this is an Egghead Searcher out of life. So this is also really shiesty. Searches out all your egghead characters that you guys have in the deck. This is your boss monster of the deck. You don't really want to get bricked up on this card. 2 is all you really need at this point, because a lot of times you're really just going to be going into Yamato because you're stacking off your life every single turn. But maybe if you're in a pinch, this card is really good. In my opinion, every yellow deck that can play ace should be playing ace. Fact, not an opinion. Next card we got right here is Nami. This is another brand new OP08 card that really does boost this Vega Punk deck to the next level. This is spot removal, on play, and at a trigger. A lot of times you're going to be doing this at a trigger to get its broken trigger effect for any type of board removal. Very shiesty card. This is your board removal for any card on the field your opponent might have from a cost 10 to cost 0. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You drop this, something's dying. The only thing about this card is you need to make sure you time this card properly, because if you don't and you use this card, you can go down to 1 life, and then if your opponent has some other shiesty shit on the field, you could lose next turn. So, you know, this is your main form of board removal. Just make sure you know when and how to use it. Okay, Regu, very good card. Next card we got right here is the man with the world's greatest brain. This is a searcher for the Egghead Pirates. Look, there's nothing really else I need to say about this. Just a really good searcher. And this is another card that you're going to see a lot of the times they put into life just because of his broken trigger effect. Play up to 1 5 cost or lower egghead type card from your trash. So this actually cycles characters out the trash like you're playing black. So this is a very good shiesty deck. If you guys do want to play Vega Punk, if you guys are wondering how good it is good, but you need a good pilot. And if you're okay of going into time a lot of the times and dropping $50-$60 per card for the category, this is also a great option for you as well. Let's go ahead and get into the top 4 deck of this YGO list, man. Let's get it.
Number 4.
So we already talked about the 5th best yellow deck in the OP08, man. Now let's talk about the top 4. literally the fourth best deck. I feel like the fourth best yellow deck is Pudding. I already did a video on Pudding, so if you guys really don't know what Pudding does, it pretty much cheats out every single big character on the field. So if you guys like some dom manipulation and being able to play these bigger bodies on your second or third turn, this might be a deck for you. The only thing that's bad about this deck is that it loses the aggro really bad, and you know, there are quite a few aggro decks out there that really gives this deck some trouble. It is a good leader, but like I said, it is relatively slow. So if you guys are a fan of just dropping big bodies turn after turn, every single turn, to really abuse, you know, this 9-drop Linlin, this 10-drop Kaido, and mainly this 10-drop Charlotte Linlin, if you guys are playing this deck, you really want to go into this card right here, because this card literally trashes your opponent's life, a reject on steroids, 12k body, and replenishes your life as well. You guys can see what the leader does. I'm not going to read the leader because we already made a video on it. If you guys want to see a little bit more of an in-depth breakdown, card at the top, another couple of cards they are running that's a little bit different from any other yellow deck is this Viola. This Viola is very broken in this Pudding deck. This price of this card has gone up as well. I think the regular version of this card is like $10-15. So I mean, if you guys do want to pick up this deck, you guys gonna have to spend some money for this deck, to be honest with you. Another card that actually does really well in this deck that I didn't talk about last time is Edward Newgate. Just being able to have a 6 cost 7k body on board, and also gets to allow you to rearrange your life, is actually broken. Very strong card. And the only other card that you probably going to be really needing in this deck is this card right here. This is a $25 card for the regular art. Main reason why you use this card is because if they do have a bigger body on field, you just summon this, wait till next turn, and it copies the attack, and then you could possibly kill it as well. So this is really just good for board removal as well. If you guys are wondering how all this stuff works, it's literally just dom manipulation to cheat out these bigger monsters, mainly with this Katakuri, the leader effect, and just having some easy searches with this card right here, this card right here, and also the Pudding as well. For your defensive cards, you don't really have too many defensive cards, you don't really run too many blockers, but you are running quite a few of counter. You're running 3 counter right here, you're running 7 counter, so this already is 8Ks or 2Ks, I'm sorry. And then you also have 4 more of Capone. This is probably the most broken counter out of life in the game, fact not opinion. So you are running 11 counters, that's also very good with the You're the One That Disappear. So all in all, if you guys want my personal honest opinion, this is the 4th best yellow deck in the game. Once OP08 8.5 comes out, I'm not sure how well this deck will do, but nonetheless, once 8.5 comes out, I will be making another video on the top yellow decks for the 8.5 meta. So that's all I got about Pudding. If you guys are a fan of Pudding from the anime, or you just like cheating out the bigger cost bodies onto the field, this actually is a good possible deck for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get straight into the 3rd best yellow deck in the TCG streets, gang. Let's get it.
Number 3.
So now for the top 3 decks, these are going to be what you're really going to be seeing a majority of your meta tournaments, you know, the big tournaments, your little tournaments, your local tournaments, your treasure cups. You know, okay, these are going to be the 3 most popular yellow decks in the OP08 meta. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. The 3rd best deck, 3rd best yellow deck is Calgera. Calgera, this is literally an aggro yellow deck. This is probably one of the best, if not the best aggro deck out there besides Red Zoro. But if you do want to have some light manipulation with some aggro, this is the best yellow deck with aggro, gang. Fact, not an opinion. You guys see it on the screen. Calgera, put a character with a Shandaria Warriors type from your hand into play that has a cost equal to or less than the number of Dawn you control. Then if you played a card, put the top card of your life into your hand. Okay, so the way you really use this particular leader is that you attack and you usually end up cheating out your bigger body, such as this Calgera, onto the field. That's usually the combos. This right here, attack, cheat this out, and then also having this card summoned so you guys can replenish your life. So you take a life of Calgera and you put a life back out with Norland. Okay, this is one of the best aggro type of decks in the game. If you guys are wondering how this deck works, a lot of times you play with a lot of low cost characters. As you can see, we don't really have no big body type of characters, literally everything 6 costs or lower. A lot of times you're gonna go into this, you know, maybe turn 1 or 2, search out the Holly, do the Holly combo, and then that's when you start attacking with this, cheating this out, and then possibly playing this Lowland to replace your life. You also have the ace for late game. If you guys do want to close out games, you guys could have the ace. You guys could put this up to 4, but in my honest opinion, 2 is just where you need to be. You do have the Satori out of trigger, or out of life, I'm sorry. That's really, really good. And it's also a 2K counter. You're running 4, 6, and then you're also running 4 of this 2K counters. But all in all, this is really just a rushing type of deck. I mean, when it high rolls, it high rolls. The only thing about this deck, you guys are wondering, what is its weakness? What is its weakness? And one of its main ways of weakness is really board removal. It doesn't really have any board removal, as you guys can see. Don't really have any board removal like that. So that could be problematic. But I mean, it can't really, it could be problematic, but then it couldn't be, because if you are rushing the board, you have so many bodies on field, you could just have board removal with just all your aggro that you are putting onto the board, all the pressure. Another thing that this deck really struggles with, which is the biggest downside of this deck, is this card right here. For some reason, this Norland is not searchable at all in this deck, so you literally just have to, hopefully you just draw it. That's literally the only way for you to get this card. I don't know why Norland is not searchable, but usually if you guys don't see your Norland, you will lose the game because you have no way to replenish your life. So that's the only downfall of this deck. This is the only downfall of this deck. If you are brand new to the game, go ahead and pick up this deck. This deck is also the best budget deck out there. It's only $60–$70 to even pick up this deck, max rarity. So if you are brand new to the game and you do want to play yellow and you do like fucking they bitch by aggroing them down every single turn, this is definitely your deck. You might low roll sometimes with this Norland, but besides that, this deck is a very, very solid deck when it comes to aggro onto the field, man. If you guys want to have some type of similarity of this deck, what this deck really kind of reminds me of, it kind of reminds me of RP Law without the bottom decking. That's what this deck really does remind me of. This is literally RP Law without the bottom decking, okay, and the dom manipulation. It's just spam the board, spam the board, spam the board. Okay, so yeah, this is the third best deck that we have for the yellow gang, YGOD gang members, bro. And now let's go ahead and get straight into the next top 2 yellow decks that's going to be in the OP08 meta, man. Let's get it.
Number 2.
So for these last 2 yellow decks, I'm not going to really talk too much on it like that, because I already done videos on both of these 2 decks. If you guys don't even know what I'm talking about, this is your first time in here, the second best yellow deck is an L. Okay, you guys can copy this list, but if you guys want to have a very deep dive of how this deck works, how it functions, what every card does for this particular deck, and have 3 different type of deck lists you can run, card at the top. You guys should have been seeing the thumbnail on the screen right now. I'm not going to go over anything in this deck, because like I said, I already spent a whole video on this. So with that being said, let's go over the best yellow deck that's going to be in the streets in the OP08 meta, man. Let's get it.
Number 1.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Now this shit right here is shice.
So if you guys did not know what the best yellow deck is going to be in the OP08 meta, it's none other than black and yellow Luffy. This is my main deck that I am playing on the channel. This is my favorite deck as well. This came out of the starter deck 13. Y'all know 13 is my favorite number. Okay, it has Kuzan, my favorite character in the game, in the anime as well. It has Gecko, my favorite black card in the game. And honestly, this is the best yellow deck in the game. The only thing about this deck I'm gonna tell you right now is that there is a huge skill gap on this deck. Okay, if you misplay once with this deck, you're probably going to lose. This is the hardest deck in the game to play. Okay, this is the most complicated deck in the game to play. This is the most combo centric deck in the game to play. This is the hardest deck in the game to play. So if you guys do want to play this deck, you guys have to put the time in. I'm not going to really go over any of my other shiesty ass lists that I do have, because I did make a whole video. Check that out. Probably one of the most craziest anime type intros you'll ever see in your life, so make sure you check it out. But this is the best yellow deck in the streets for the CCG, y'all. So this is all I got. I'm gonna start doing these top 5 decks for every single color, y'all. A lot of people ask me what are the top decks in this particular color. I'm gonna do this for every single color. Next color we're gonna do is black, because black is my second favorite color. And then after that, you guys can tell me, how about this, you guys tell me below what color you guys want to see after black, and then whoever has the most upvoted color, that's what we're gonna do. And whoever posts that particular comment, I'm gonna put you in the video as well. So Let me know below what color you guys want to see after black. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got. First time I made one of these videos, so tell me how I did, tell me if you like it. And yeah, y'all, that's all I got. But look, before I go, if you was feeling the vibes, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It all gone.